Sorry, first item on the, should have been on the agenda is to recognize our chaplain, Tony Graham, to give our invocation. Tony.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come here, Lord, and as your word tells us not to lean on our understanding, but to lean toward you, God. We ask that you help the decisions that are made by these men and women on the board to be wise and in accordance with your will for the coast, God. Help them to make decisions that will benefit everyone on the coast. God, we also want to pray for those in the path of the storm that's coming up, and all those in Florida and into Georgia that will face this over the next couple of days, God. We know the feeling. And God, we pray that your mercy be with them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain. Sheriff, would you lead us in the pledge?
I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, Chair would like to recognize anyone who would like to address the board and come forward. And then, in reference to the fairground.
Oh, I think they're talking. Come on. I am Janet McCarroll, and I'll let the others introduce themselves.
Shayla Benefield. Maria DeSangle.
And
Mariana Barnett. Now we in trouble.
Just for the record, Mariana, we knew who you were.
Shelley, you want to? I always go first.
You go ahead.
Okay, all right. So we're just here because there has been, we've been told that we can no longer use any of the county equipment, which we've all been using for many, many years. And we have been through this once before, so there is a little piece of the contract that kind of opens up hope for us. And I'll let Mariana can speak to that one. But I don't know that you all understand. I mean, it's such a specialty thing, and it's so important for the safety of the people that come here to horse show with both of us, that we get things right. And it takes people that know what they're doing. Anybody can go in there and drag the ring. Anybody can go in there and water it. But what it takes to prep it for what we need. And also, it's not like we just do it in the morning. We're doing it, I run up to 6 rings of competition at one time. And in those rings, there could be 175 to 225 competitive trips, which means we're watering and dragging all day long. So it's one of the most important things that we do to guarantee the safety of our competitors. And it's just, we've been doing it now, I've been doing it 26 years, and we've never had one issue with the equipment that we've used.
Same goes for us. We use one tractor driver whenever we bring in, he comes in the morning of, we wet the arena, we get it prepared. And I've tried to.
This is for the barrel race?
Yes, for the barrel racing. We have the same thing. The one guy comes in, he works the arena, he knows what to do. It's not just like we have someone out there that doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, this is a specialized situation. It's not, and you can just take someone off the street, hand them a set of keys. They do this once a day. These people are highly, highly skilled and trained in what dirt needs to be. I know that sounds a little nutty, but it's very important. You're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of horses and people. The people, if they end up hurt, well, then you got a big lawsuit because the ground was trash. Does that make sense? And this is a very big deal. It's not just, oh, these people are complaining about the dirt or who's going to drag. It's imperative. Her people spend thousands of dollars to try to learn how to get this proper. It's not just on a whim.
And I will say, I'm very proud to say that I bring in the #1 drag guy in the United States of America. He does National Final Drag at Hampton Classic. Why he chooses to work for me, I don't know, because he could work for anybody. And he loves coming here. He loves taking care of the equipment while he's here. He's an amazing human being. And there is no one that can match his, no one that can match his talent. He's amazing. And so it's just, again, it's hard to understand why.
This gentleman comes in for everything, barrel racing, anything this horse is on the fairground?
This guy's
Just for your
just for mine.
Just
specific.
Yeah, he's kind of expensive, so not
Yeah.
I can afford him. But He's worth
Who
it.
does the barrel racing? for
Ricky
y'all?
Head,
Pardon me?
Ricky Head,
He works for Hancock County.
yeah. he
He's
works for
trained-
Hancock
He's
County.
highly trained in this, to know
Okay.
what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It's very, very important.
What's the law on it, Mariano?
Mariano?
Did you pass that to Tim?
Our position is that, this will be the 27th year, I believe. So we've been doing it for 26 years, and we've been allowed to use the tractors for the last 26 years. And the contract mentions real property, fixtures, and equipment located at 15321 County Farm Road. So our position is, that's the way it's always been under the contract. It was envisioned under the contract. And there's language in the contract about equipment being able to be used. Also,
Does it say, Mario, equipment being used by others or county, or
By
is it
the-
implied
by
by
the lessee.
county employees?
it doesn't specify, but it's,
I
it's,
think I could help a little bit on
That-
this. First off, generally, a private person cannot use county property, that would be a donation. However, the county can provide in a lease, as they did in this facility, that you're renting the facility, including the use of equipment necessary to manage whatever they've got. And there's a hold harmless provision, as I recall, in this.
Is there a waiver?
Yes.
there's a
Yes.
waiver, hold harmless provision. If they damage the equipment, they gotta fix it, all that's in there.
And I do think, and this goes back for a long time, that the use of the equipment or some of the equipment was covered by the lease. From just recollection that they were, the same discussion had occurred at prior boards about them being able to use, particularly this tractor. I remember that being discussed because of what they just said. And so that's why that has in the case, I believe, and other equipment. So you're leasing to them the facility along with the equipment necessary for that event.
That lease protects us from any liability if someone's injured, Kim?
We have a hold harmless provision in there. They also provide insurance, which asks the county as an interest. Does it prevent you from being sued? No. Does it help you prevail? Yes. I mean, more than likely, the county would not have a liability. If they've got the choice of suing them with their insurance and suing the county as self-insured, they're gonna go that first anyway, so.
That's correct.
I don't think there's a large exposure of liability for the county. I think it was contemplated originally in the lease. Now, over the years, we all tend to forget the nuances of it, but I specifically remember this issue coming up at least once before during the discussions. And I think that's why you see in the lease the term and/or equipment, because and it wasn't specified because there's different equipment. It's not
People
the,
use different things, yeah.
you couldn't put it all in there. So I think the lease actually contemplates that. Now, generally, it's correct that a private party cannot use county equipment, but I do think within the lease terms, the county can agree to allow them as part of that lease payment to use the equipment. And I think that's what was done.
Is there anything that needs to be updated on that to make sure that, because if someone does get injured,
You
they're
have,
not gonna be able to just walk away.
paragraphs 5 and 6 of the contract, the actual lease, talks about indemnity and hold harmless. So if the county got sued
They were-
over something that we did, we'd have to defend the county, pay for the attorney for the county, and if there was any judgment. So you got the indemnity and hold harmless clause, and you also have paragraph 5 that talks about what happens if we damage the equipment, that we'll be responsible for the repairing of the equipment, or fixing the equipment. So I think you're covered.
You're
And
covered
like
as
Tim
much as,
said,
I mean, again,
under the Tort Claim Act, I don't know that,
you can, when you say can you be sued, you know, being sued.
Anybody can be,
Right.
yeah.
That's what kind of
I
gets
don't like the
lost.
shirt
We
you're wearing.
recognize
I'm still-
that.
When y'all say that, I'm going, yes, you can be sued, but whether or not they'll prevail is a whole different issue. I think the contract contemplated that. We did it with hold harmless agreement. They're required to provide insurance, which as the county as an additional insured to it, so that's about the best protection you can get in that situation. So
That's where-
it
Keep in
won't
mind, I'd
keep
like
you
to-
from getting
yeah.
sued, but it certainly will be a strong defense to that.
I'd like to ask, because I hadn't even talked to Greg about this, it's in my district, but I had several of y'all and customers call and say, whoa, why is this happening? What precipitated this? Did y'all damage something? Did you have a non-professional driving it? Has
No.
anything happened?
Not that we know of.
Precipitated
We don't know.
this?
It just came
I
up.
think somebody said something about somebody, I got a call, can somebody operate, can a private party use county equipment? And my
Okay.
initial response was, well, no. But then, when the question came back, it was connected to the fairgrounds, I said, wait a minute, it can be, if we added as part of the lease, I hadn't looked at the lease to see if it was in there.
And it was already there.
So I think it was just somebody seeing somebody operate,
Well, and it happened,
non-county employee
yeah.
operating county equipment they didn't understand, didn't know, so I think they kind of got a complaint that wasn't, didn't
Well,
understand
I'm
the
glad that it
situation.
come up because it's in there. But God forbid something happens, now I know,
Yeah.
and I know who to go to and hold responsible for whatever happens.
I don't know that we've been before the new board on, with Gulf Coast Winter Classic, because the contract got extended, but I don't know if it was about 5-6 years ago. I don't know that a lot of us in Harrison County realize the economic impact that the Winter Classic has. I always think of what we got next week, Cruising the Coast, and you think of its economic impact. But Gulf Coast Winter Classic is a $40 million economic impact. I remember being in a meeting here and having a room full of folks, restaurant owners, and the one thing that sticks out in my mind the most was a bike shop owner. I'm like,
The
why-
$10,000 bicycle.
$10,000
I remember
bicycle.
that.
Why-
He
why
was
is a
about to
bike
shut
shop owner
down,
here?
and then
Said-
these classic people came in with their tight pants and
Bought
bought a bunch
two
of bikes.
bikes for
That's what he
$5 a
said.
piece. And they stay in hotels, they go out to eat, and they're here for 3 months. So the economic impact of the Gulf Coast Winter Classic is huge, I think, to the county. And they certainly have been working with the county, and the county's been working with them as well. So we'd love to continue that relationship, to keep going, and, you know, not have any issues hopefully down the road. Plus,
Yeah, you can.
I think it's public record
Yeah,
anyway,
it is public record.
but $90,000 a year payment to the county,
Is the rent y'all pay?
so,
All right, thank y'all.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Any questions about anything else?
No.
No, I don't think.
Thank you.
So one lady concerned is named Emily. She's having a race this weekend. People are pulling out because they're worried their children will be killed if it's not done properly because the horses can fall. So we need to make a decision because it will affect Emily's event and people pulling out.
If they're signing that same contract, there shouldn't be a problem. And they're providing insurance.
I just think we just keep it going as the beginning. If they
As long as we're getting the proof that that's been signed and the insurance has been, purchased.
Make sure the
Okay.
insurance
Yeah.
is verified,
Alright.
that they do have the insurance, okay?
Y'all provided the insurance, right?
Well,
It's
it's
not
not for our event. I did have one last week. I did provide the insurance
Yeah,
for
for
that.
the event this weekend, it's already in spread on the minutes with
Yeah.
the insurance and leasing and everything.
Okay. And there shouldn't be a problem.
All right.
Okay.
All right, right now, Miss Sarah Husky, Director of Harris County Library.
Thank y'all for letting me come speak to y'all briefly this morning. I think I've communicated to most of y'all in some manner or another about our board of trustees, and we just wanted to kind of see what we need to do to conclude the appointment process. Just to background quickly, we had our at-large member resign back in March, and we have only a 5-member board. So we have the 4 cities that participate and then the at-large member. So then, as we started moving forward with that process, we also have our Biloxi representative does not wish to continue. And then our past Christian person had a residency concern. So that means out of 5, we're 3 short. So we really need to have the new members seated, because you've all finished your budget process. We need to approve ours. We have policy things, personnel matters, financials to approve, those sorts of things that we have to do our business. And I furnished, I'm not sure if I gave it to everyone, but we had our staff and the administration talk to some patrons who are supporters, who use the library, because we really like to have advocates, strong advocates, people who are going to be active community members on our board. So I have provided that. I have hard copies if any of you need that information of a person from past Christian from that area. And then a couple of folks who would be either eligible for Biloxi or the at-large position. So, and I would also like, if going forward, if we could establish an informal process for how y'all want us to communicate that and make that process efficient, so we can make sure that it happens. We have another one coming up next year, just FYI, for D'Iberville. She will, she could be reappointed, so hopefully that's what y'all will choose to do, because she's a good board member, but we will have future vacancies.
Sir, I've been in contact with Mayor Pastor Shannon. I'm waiting to hear from a recommendation.
Okay.
I do have one recommendation for the Biloxi one that I can do at the end with this Mr. Gutierrez,
Okay.
Mr. John Gutierrez.
And we, like I said, we did have a person, who was willing to do the at-large. The former board member could also be appointed as at-large because she lives in the county, and we do have someone that.
She declined.
She declined, okay.
She declined.
We appointed an at-large already.
Oh, we do not have notification of that, and it
Yeah,
wasn't,
a couple of the last meeting or the meeting before,
Okay.
we appointed.
and it wasn't someone that we, like, it wasn't one of the people we had suggested, so they, so we didn't know, because I had asked them, hey, have y'all heard?
Yeah,
So we have to
appointed
figure out our
that.
process of who should have called you and told you that Dan Carr with all of his information.
Yes. 'Cause
No, you weren't told of that?
No, we don't have that information. We have a meeting Monday for,
Meeting, what time was that?
it's at noon on Monday.
There was a letter sent out
Oh, you sent out
with the
one.
information, contact information for Mr. Carr.
Okay, I have not yet received it.
Did you send a letter to the
Right,
library?
library commission.
Okay, so I'll look for it, but we haven't received it as of
Yes.
Snail mail.
Email address.
So we can contact him as soon as we get that and get him
We'll give you the email address and then I'll just send you.
What's the location of that board meeting?
at Orange Grove Library on Old Highway 49,
What time?
noon.
You wanna text Dan? Thank you, Sheila, for letting him know that. He'll be there.
Okay, and I'll give you my cards. And just, and I can email you, I mean, I think all we need to do is decide, you know, if we send you anything, if you just want to, you know, if you want our
Well, you
input.
what would be nice if you send us a notification of the vacancy. The appointment needs to come from the board.
Yes,
And I would suggest that since they reside in, of course, now we're more knowledgeable of the fact that they have to reside in the city.
for those four, there is
Yes,
one that
there's
can live
one at
wherever, you know,
There's
in
one
the
at
county.
large.
One.
And I think that's the one that
Dan
was
Carr lives
first
in the
up. so
county, yeah.
That one. Okay, and we did have, you know, we had some suggestions, if you would like those, let me know.
I called one and he declined, so.
Sometimes it's not a terrible commitment, I don't think. We meet once a month most of the time, and we ask them to come to the budget hearings and things like that, but it's mostly a pleasant and not too onerous duty. But we do hope that y'all will choose people who care about the library and support us.
All right.
Well, thank you for your
Ms.
time.
Thank you. All right, next item is discussion of Gene Herron's travel reimbursement from 22, 23, and 2024. Discussion.
So,
That's what we just approved.
The
of.
demo.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
You want the demo.
so she had unknowingly only been being paid 22 cents a mile, and it's supposed to be 67 cents. The law says unless you're given another car, you can't get the full amount. She was never told or offered a county vehicle, so she has just been, and I think, Walt, are you here? Hello. 1,600 is about the amount, is that right, Robbie? I'm sorry. 1,700 and some change. So I'd like to make a motion to reimburse her for 3 years of using her own car at only 22 cents a mile.
Second.
What is the rule on going back previous years? Is that just,
Yeah, you got, I got a second. Motion and second, for discussion.
okay.
What documentation do we need as far as going back and correcting these mileage reports to make sure that there's an audit that it's in order and we're not trying to backtrack when someone's standing there asking for it?
I would probably memorandum at some point, as justification as to how, something outlining the math and the underlying calculations, came back to that figure. I would argue that would be sufficient
Okay.
to document the reimbursement.
So you should have mileage reports.
Should have
already.
mileage
We should have
reports
mileage
that we
reports, but they're not
pay.
accurate.
You're just, well, the mileage should be accurate, it's just the amount.
The amount.
The amounts will be accurate, so the paperwork's not accurate.
22 cents.
Yeah, she was just underpaid.
You just, that's the difference, what she was paid and what
Yes.
she's supposed to be paid. All right, have, any further discussion? Have a motion on the floor, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, motion carries. All right, on the, next item is consent agenda, item 2 through 7, non-controversial, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. All right, let me get that, where do I go? 7. Order authorizing the purchase of 3 Lavino ThinkBook laptops for use by the judges from CDWG at total cost of $2,052.54 payable from 0011669117 and authorizing a line item transfer of $1,955.72 from 0011664775 and $1,937.50 from 0011660603 to 001-166-917, and the quotes attached. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. Order approving execution and payment of pay application number 12 to Harris County Bridge LLC, work on the Minge Avenue I-10 project in accordance with the development agreement and the attached form of geo requisition in the amount of $1,029,344.49 payable from 309-100-581.
Motion.
Second?
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, motion carries. Order awarding ARPA contract for the county farm and land and road sewer project to the lowest and best responsive bidder, Gulf Coast Solutions LLC for the base bid and alternate number 1 for a total bid of $1,981,863.50 as recommended by the design engineer Overstreet and Associates and county engineer, and authorize the board president to execute contract documents contingent on legal review.
Motion.
Second?
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order awarding ARPA contract for I-10 to Land and Road east of Canal Road Sewer Project to the lowest and best responsive bidder, Florian Hauling Incorporated, for the total bid of $373,887 as recommended by the design engineer, Overstreet and Associates, county engineer, and authorize the board president to execute contract documents contingent on legal review.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Hear none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order authorizing the Harrison County IT Department to provide VPN connection to EMA Deputy Director Jason Purvis for the purpose of working from his county laptop during his on-call periods.
Motion.
Second?
Discussion? Hear none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. On the zoning administrator, discussion of Braden Road Trailer Park. Mr. Eric.
It still doesn't look good. All the trailers are vacant. I talked to Malcolm Jones this morning. They're still awaiting the appraisal for the sale of the property to a new owner, and contingency upon the contract is gonna be to clear all the trailers off and clean the site off. The grass is high, weeds are taller. It's not looking good. Really, there's not all that much the county can do right now because the board's blighted decision was appealed to the courts. Am I
It does
correct?
not stay the action of the board. Their obligation to set it and get it heard, and otherwise the board's order stands.
Okay.
And he actually appealed from the wrong order, but we don't need to get into that. That's their obligation to proceed with it. So the board order stands, the appeal does not stop it. If the board, and indeed, I went back and looked at all the orders. In May was when you declared it a menace property.
of 23.
of 23.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're right, 23, and then the board every month continued to give them an opportunity to clean the property. In December, the board entered a final order saying clean it.
Tim, you said that nobody's living there. I drove through there the other day, and in the very back, there's somebody still living in one of those mobile homes, and they still have power connected somehow.
Somehow they have power in the back, I think it's
And
number 17 in the back right.
And
there's a-
I mean, it's
There's no
absolute-
water,
Yeah,
there's no
and
sewer.
Carolyn, she's went out there multiple times because the
Mhm.
neighbors have called. And so she's been out there multiple times. And then we have the guy across the street that's pulled two of the mobile homes
That
on
would be
his
Chester,
property
that would be Chester Eric.
and has those
He's
hooked
been-
up with no permitting or anything.
They are not hooked
They're
to
not
power.
hooked up,
They're
okay.
just, they're just pulled there.
Okay.
He's already been sent a letter. We're about to send him cease and desist, and that's gonna be a separate process from the trailer park itself.
So if what, Mr. Holloman's telling us, I would like to see us just go ahead and go forward with whatever the process is to get this. It's not fair to those people
I agree.
that are living around there. I mean, if I lived there, I'd probably take action in my own
And
hands.
it's
if
gonna
I
go,
was
because
one of
once
those
they
people.
sell it and get a contract to clean it, I mean, he says he's gonna clean it, that sale has to be closed, which would be another 90 days.
Yeah, it's
Then he's
just
gonna
not,
argue about
it's just
cleaning
not,
it
and then you
first.
have people coming in and like, just
Oh, yeah.
anybody
it's
coming in
horrible.
and taking metal off of these trailers, and they have all kinds of people in and out by their houses. It's just not fair to these people, so I wanna make a motion to go ahead and for the county to clean up the property and
All that needs
file.
to be done is for the, I guess, the road department to set a date when it can go in there and clean it.
Yeah,
Let's
and-
notify them that it's gonna be done,
And then to file it on their taxes.
then you file a lien, and
And
then,
then-
I'll
And then-
second that.
And if they do sell it, then they just don't have to go through the process of doing it, it's already done.
And we understand that there's several family members that own the estate, and that's been the hiccup, the
Yeah,
holdup. But Nathan's right, this has been going on for 3 years, we need to pull the
Agreed.
triggers, I'll second that motion.
And then whatever we have to do to get those two trailers out of there that guy has on his property illegally, whatever.
As combative as he has been, I expect we're gonna go to facts and findings and take him to
can
court.
we ask the date, pick a date, if the road department would say, we're going in on October the 15th.
Then when you think you can do it?
Y'all tell me a day, we can do it today.
Nathan, when you want
Not
to do it?
today, I'd like the board to enter an
You
order
wanna-
today that
Right,
the
I agree.
30 days?
road department's
I mean,
gonna
and that
own it on
way-
the next date, so we can give them
Specific
notice.
date.
So let's just say 30 days from today, whatever that date is.
All right. Good, I'll be happy. Then I can go after Dolan.
Hold on just a minute, too. Hold on, I want to
Okay.
take care of this motion I have.
Motion to order the director.
Did you have something to say, Karen?
I do. So moving forward, great with this, because we have been dealing with it for so long. My other concern I wanted to bring up to be addressed is the sewage lagoon. I've spoke with NDEQ on Tuesday. The sewage lagoon is not functional. It, December 19th, 2022 was the last time DEQ went out. Logan Myers with DEQ went out there. He said that all wires had been stripped. He couldn't find the discharge pipe. He said that the lagoon was trickling into what they call a wet well. So that business, GNO Supply, is still running off into that lagoon that is not functioning.
There's
like
a
it's
business,
supposed to.
you're talking about that business?
No, that's on a different parcel,
Yeah, no.
but they're still dumping into the lagoon that
No,
was
it's-
coming.
Well, it's
there's
part of
two
this
parcels. There's two
property.
parcels in
Yeah,
there.
they pay rent to them.
Colbert Company, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Forward.
And
Correct.
from my understanding, this is raw sewage, you're saying?
Correct, yes.
It's dumping
And
into a
so
lagoon
it's
that's
running
not
off into this
That's not
lagoon.
functioning.
Now, DEQ did tell me, Travis, one of the engineers with DEQ, did tell me that he sent an email Tuesday morning to Samuel Williams stating, you have until October 1st to contact us to let us know where you're at with things. Because DEQ needs to move forward with the issue with the lagoon as well. So I just want to point out that we do
Who
have that issue
initially,
as well.
who initially, I mean, who did they certify this lagoon to? Somebody had to build it and get a permit to build it. Who built the
So this was
lagoon?
years ago, I guess, when the mobile home park was originally put in, the lagoon was, but they are currently not in cooperation or in compliance with anything right now, and nothing's up and running.
So DEQ is aware of it?
Correct, they are
They take
currently
care.
trying to deal with that, but I just wanted it to be known because GNO Supply is a part of this property as well. And the water was cut to them for a while, they were having to go down the road to the gas station to use the restroom. And now the water supply has been turned back on to GNO Supply because supposedly Malcolm Jones had gone to DEQ and gotten everything approved with the lagoon, which was not the case. So we have an issue.
Doc, I believe originally Dickie Joe owned all that.
On that,
And I think it ended up in his sister's hands, and then it ended up into the sister's kids' hands.
The board's not really, we're not
Board-
no good.
the board is, that's my point, the board, DEQ is responsible for the lagoon.
And quite frankly, one business going into a big lagoon is not creating a huge problem, because it's probably not all the waste coming out of there.
I think there's only 2 employees there too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's not that much going,
something that's.
but that's DEQ, that's,
Yeah,
the-
absolutely.
we got enough.
But if they haven't been there
Taking on
since
their
2022,
responsibility.
just, maybe you should reach back out to DEQ. I'm just,
October 1st is when they're supposed to respond, Samuel Williams is supposed
Okay.
to respond back for them to move forward,
It's
but
the
that was part of
decedent?
the complaint, I'm sorry.
Is it the decedent's name, Samuel Williams?
Samuel Williams is one of the
Son.
siblings that's involved
Just making
in,
sure they weren't considered.
Samuel Hutchinson.
No, that was that's
no,
Jared.
no, that's
That
a
passed
whole
away.
different ballgame. This Samuel Williams does not live here, he lives in Georgia, so he's
This
not
is
even.
on the other side of the street.
Correct.
Okay.
So
Also,
I'll make my motion for October 24th, because 30 days is on a Saturday, so does that work for you?
Is that a general 30 days or 30 working days?
Just
30
October
days.
24th. How's that sound?
October
That'd be
24th,
fine.
that's yeah.
second.
we say one more thing, we gotta make sure there's a short time frame to bring the expenses back to the board. I think it's like the next term. And so you have to get your list in quickly as soon as you get through, so that we can spread it on the minutes and have it enrolled as a judgment upstairs. And we'll file the change of court with the permission of the board to make a claim to the state.
All
And we
right.
need to notify them, but once y'all tell me the date you're gonna do it.
24th.
I'm gonna notify Mr. Jones that from hell or high water, it's gonna get cleaned on the 24th, but it's already.
Hey, also, Eric, we need to look into that trailer that's out there, because it looks like they're connected to a regular power pole somehow. I don't know if Mississippi Power still has, or Coast, whoever it is.
If you look at that trailer on the northeast corner of that trailer, there is a standard manufactured home power pole there. It's not directly to it's got an either on it.
So whatever we need to do to make sure, because we don't want our guys out there working.
The board's already given
us
us, made a decision to evict everybody.
I understand, but the power company's got a meter out there, they should be notified that there's no authority to have a meter unless you have a CO,
Might be
right?
wise to check and make sure there's
Yeah,
no
we just don't want our
power.
guys out there
I'll go back
working
and
with
check that
live
with the
power
office,
to make
just
sure
make
that everything's off out
In a
there.
metal tin,
Yeah.
tin cans.
Yeah, because when I went out there Wednesday, there was a truck back there and a gentleman there, and there was just debris and trash all over. Looked like he may have been scrapping stuff out there. He had a little fire going and everything, like he was burning stuff. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that's one of the ones owned by Chester Ladner. So, he owned several of the mobile homes out there. So he's, as far as I guess notifying him, is
He
that
has no,
something that
well, we
has
can
to
send
be?
him a notice, but he has no authority to have them there.
Right, exactly. But he said that he didn't live there. Like I said, there was stuff
When
all
I
out
went
there.
through, it
And
was a woman and a young girl
there
that
had
was
been a
out
lady
there.
there, yes.
And that very back mobile home that's
Where
right,
that-
that's
okay.
right across from where that guy has those
Gotcha.
two, is right there on that back corner.
Because I believe Chester Ladner owns that one, and then the really nasty ones on the south side.
They're all really
Is
nasty.
any of the ones he
Well,
owns?
they're all
Are any of the ones he owns?
Yeah.
livable.
No, sir.
Prob-
Those others on that other side, he said he was just using them for storage, that they weren't
We
repairable.
do need to get an address and notify him that if they're not.
I've got his address.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
get it
just
to you.
make sure we get notice to him that those trailers, if he thinks they're worth
Make
anything,
sure
you need
that
to
all
get
the
them.
power's
Yep.
dead.
Tim,
We need-
can he, yeah, go ahead.
we need to make sure that all with Mississippi, or Coast Electric, whoever that is
I'll
there,
call Coast Electric.
that everything is dead to that property before our guys get out there and,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
start pushing stuff down and stuff.
Well, we can do a cut and cut out the day he goes out there. They can sever power to the whole complex.
And with the woman and small girl living there, can you put a letter on that trailer that they have to get out to let
I'll
her
go
out
out
so
there
she won't be
today.
homeless in 30 days?
Yep, I'll go out there today. All right.
Hold on just a minute there.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Here none, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, motion carries. Eric, just a quick report, where are we on the Lozana?
She was about 20 feet of the back of the trailer is torn down. She's making progress. I figure she's gonna be done by the October 4th day.
Okay,
They had knocked all the walls in, and they were hauling off the debris last time that Rose went by.
thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President, I hate to interrupt, just as a point of procedure, since the discussion was on the agenda, I think it was just for discussion, we don't need to vote on anything, on the issue of the equipment.
No, I think.
No, we just.
Part of the contract.
Right.
Part of the
All right,
contract.
just want to make sure, thank you.
Thank you. On the road department order approving the sole source purchase for a replacement of gates arms at Bayou Cortez from B&B Roadway and Security Solutions in the amount of $27,060 to be paid out of the 160360913 as recommended by the road department manager.
Motion.
Second, the only discussion, Tim, on this, and Tim, you need to, is that truly a sole source purchase?
Yes.
Nobody else sells, gates that go down? See, that's the problem we dealing with. And the sole source, I just want to cover the board on this. The sole source purchase, there's no letter from the company, that's from you. I don't know if Tim had a look, I just want to protect us from this because, Tim, is it the justification for, without going out for another quote, being that nobody else's gates would hook into that power, or what is the justification for it? I just want to be clear, because we're talking about $27,000.
Now, these are for 3 gates. These are
But
3 gates.
for the 3 gates,
But,
whatever.
yes, this is a direct replacement for the mechanical arm holders, you know. That, what it is it's the arms that go down when the bridge, the draws come
Right.
out. It's got the flashing lights and everything. It's the direct placement for the mechanical arm holders. And plus the plugs for the lights and all.
That's what I want to make
Yes,
sure
sir.
that we're,
Because any other one we get, we would have to modify it to make it fit. That's the only supplier for this direct replacement.
for that.
Yes, sir.
So you're replacing this, the same thing?
Yes.
And that's the only
Correct.
supplier for that
Right.
same?
And I do have the sole source letter from them. Y'all should have.
We
it.
didn't-
It's in there, I said, I'm ready.
Yes. Because I did get another quote, but it's not a direct replacement.
Well, you gotta be careful, and I got a little problem with this. We gotta be careful with this sole source letter. If you ask any company if they're sole source, they probably gonna tell you yes. And they're not incorrect. I'm the only one selling this particular item. But that does not mean that that item is the only thing that can be used.
Well, I think that's what he's saying though.
This is,
You got,
Tim?
slow down, you got other quotes, and what were the quotes price wise?
it's higher.
So they were higher,
Oh, you got other quotes?
and he said he got other
Yes,
quotes.
sir.
Well, if you got other quotes, you didn't need that.
It's not really a sole source.
It's not really a sole source. That's my point that I'm trying to make.
Well, it kinda is, but it also,
Right.
he got other
It's a
quotes
double-edged
anyway,
sword
so
there.
it doesn't matter.
But yeah, if you got, I didn't see the other quote. Did they have
Oh,
it?
yeah,
they're not.
I didn't attach them because it was more, in this supplier, we've used them for years. They're the only ones that make it for that bridge mechanism.
Well,
So it's
I
a
mean,
direct
what-
Tim, I
replacement.
think the confusion is that when you say it's a sole source, that means you couldn't get quotes from any other source. But you
No,
actually
I
did
did
get quotes here.
When you got quotes from the other source, was it higher
It
than
was
this?
higher per unit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You
Well,
get these two quotes.
Then we would have to take it,
That's all we needed.
we'd have to take it, modify it, then when you start modifying wiring on plugs.
I got you, Tim, I understand that. I'm just simply saying, if you got another quote, then we're all right.
But
Yeah, the
So like I say, the only reason I did the sole source for that,
The sole source is an exception to having to get other
The
quotes.
quotes, yeah.
So he got other quotes.
He got other quotes, so that covers it.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to show it was the only manufacturer for the direct replacement.
And it-
That's why I did that.
Yeah, and it was lower. And
Yes,
it's still
correct.
lower.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. That's, I just, pay attention to the sole source stuff. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. On the personnel, concur with county administrator on employment as listed and on file with payroll clerk and HR department.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order rejecting all bids received on September 18, 2024 for the sale of surplus property previously known as the City of DeIverville Police Station and do not recommend re-advertisement and authorizing the county administrator to list the property for sale with the real estate agent.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order accepting the lowest and best bid from Busby Construction in the amount of $59,904 for the DeIverville pickleball project as recommended by the Department Head of Parks and Recreation and the purchase clerk.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, this is the one that's gonna be split with the city. So this is,
Yeah.
we're only gonna, we're 50/50 with the city on this.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order approving the following pay apps from DNP Incorporated for the Sheriff's Office Work Center Generator Project for Hazard Mitigation Grant Number DR-4576-0002-R.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. County Administrator, order authorizing disposal of assets per attached list and authorizing inventory clerk to remove the same from the inventory.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order removing Edmund Pejaw and Fidel McGee, Road Department as Assistant Receiving Clerk, and adding Kim Joseph, Road Department, as Assistant Receiving Clerk, and authorizing bonding for the same.
Motion. Second.
Discussion, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order authorizing preparation and submittal of an application to claim $77,830 in equipment rebate voucher funds allocated to Harris County through the Department of Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program, and authorizing board president to execute all necessary documents.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Well, the only discussion I have is not directly applied to this, but apparently we've had no records keeping of any kind that's available to show that that money we contracted out, company we contracted out 2 years ago, have we saved any money?
No, it's on my back of my mind to run that down.
Karen Olier in my office is kind of tracking that a little bit. I do not have an exact figure, but there has been some savings. I just don't have a number. I have talked with Supervisor Cuevas, and we are gonna audit that.
Yeah, see, that's good.
We'll audit what they claim they did.
Good.
All what they said, all the light bulbs they changed, every piece, every minute thing that they said they've done is gonna be looked at.
Good. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order authorizing participation in the Mississippi Power's large commercial and industrial program in order to earn annual rebates on energy efficient upgrades throughout the county. Documentation of energy upgrades is due annually by November 30th.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. Order authorizing reimbursement of $486.62 to the road fund 150-000-360 for equipment usage by fairgrounds payable from 001-522-581.
Motion.
Discussion. The only discussion that I have, Tim, on this, who does that, piece of equipment belong to? Belongs to Harrison County, doesn't it?
Road department.
Did we pay for that, Harrison County? Why, I guess, question, Tim, and that's not being a criticism, I'm just trying to find out. Why would we have to pay for the use of the equipment? I could see if Tim and them are out on the road doing some other work, but this is a loan of a piece of equipment by the road department to another department, and that, we're having to make, of course, that other department is having to reimburse the road department.
If the equipment was paid for by road funds, then it has to be used for roads.
I'm curious.
If another department uses again, if the equipment's not paid for out of the road fund, then it doesn't apply. But if it's paid for out of the road fund, those taxes have to.
When you say the road fund, you're talking about the state, the
Out of the
appropriation
road
of funds.
department's budget.
Out of the road department's budget,
Even if, but the county's appropriating that money.
yes, but you're just reimbursing. All you're doing is
Okay.
not spending road
Just
fund
wanted to make
taxes
sure
on-
that legally, that's part of the obligation to reimburse Tim and them for their use of equipment.
If that equipment was paid for by road taxes, then it has to be used for roads, and if you use it in another department, the law is you reimburse that department, so you're not using road funds.
Was that equipment purchased with road funds from the state?
That's the question.
Yes.
From the state?
From the road fund.
Well, the road fund, we're approving, assume our budget, what, $6 million, $12 million? The state road department's not giving us that money. The state is not, we're not getting that through road fund taxes.
I never looked at it broken out like that, but I can, but I think the overriding thing is that you generally, your road fund funds, even if they're allocated by the county, the county board has certain requirements dealing with roads. I mean, that's probably one of the primary functions, or used to be anyway. So you can't use road funds generally for something other than roads.
That's just
Now-
like road manpower.
Now, I've never looked at it to say, okay, well, part of the road fund is coming from the general fund.
It is.
I understand that, but you're still putting in the road department's budget, and then the road, I'm not sure how you can separate the two.
Tim, isn't it customary across all departments? For instance, when we opened our fabulous dog park, I went to you to get the signs made, and the fairgrounds had to reimburse the road department for those signs, and so that's customary, I believe.
Correct.
And
And that's
that's
not just
not-
customary,
that
the law requires
The
that
law
you cannot
requires.
use road taxes for anything other than roads. So the Lauren's question is, well, the county's also putting general fund money into the road department, so does that apply to the general fund? And I'd have to look at that. It's always been generally the law that road funds, road department budget has to pay for roads. And I never looked to break it down, I looked to see if there's
I know.
anything that separates
Listen, I would rather not have to deal with
Right.
it. We
You have
turned
to keep,
into a
you gotta
building
keep
department.
paperwork.
Yeah, we turned into a building
My
department.
point is that I know Tim's budget roughly $11 million, and I know the state is not giving us $11 million in road taxes.
But you, I don't know the correct answer to the question, I will look at it for you. I think you're still, what you're doing is the county's obligation with the roads is not just limited to the road taxes, which is why the county puts in the budget. So when you set a budget for the road department, it should be used for the roads. And if you go outside of that, then all you're doing is taking them, if the department had done the work, in this case, wherever they did it, use the piece of equipment, they would have generally paid for that out of their budget. So all you're really doing is making them pay out of the budget rather than taking it out of the road fund.
Yeah, and I
So-
don't want to be picky-unish about it, but the point that I'm trying to make is that Pierce, report required us to do this.
Right, they were.
And I'm sure the justification was that it was state road funds, that they wanted to make sure that I would assume the statute was done to make sure that when the state appropriates funds, road taxes to the county, that it's used for that. But if the county appropriates $5 million of his budget, why would we be reimbursing each department? Why would we force him to do that?
I agree
My
with that.
point.
It may be a good argument, except
Yeah.
that
That's a
you're,
good argument.
you're setting a road department fund for them to manage roads. Then you ask them to go do work at the fairgrounds, and then that comes out of their budget as opposed to coming out of the fairgrounds budget. Whereas the fairgrounds had done it on their own.
And what Tim needs to do, if he's doing work at the fairgrounds, he needs to ask for that to be appropriated in his budget.
Probably things come up.
I don't want to
Every
make
day.
an argument out of it, I'm just saying that that's just something not jihad, and check that, Tim.
I'll look
If you
at it.
check it and just see.
I only work by the laws and the guidelines I'm given. Word.
Yeah, Tim, I'm not
So if
being
something
critical.
changes,
I'm not criticizing you, you're doing what you're supposed to be done, and it sounds like the attorney is arguing for you, so.
Generally, the law is exactly what we said.
Yeah.
Road fund has gotta be used for roads. And so now the question is, within that road fund, you got road tax.
I got you, Tim.
Well, can you divide it out? I think the answer is probably generally no.
That's
And
a
the
good
peer
question.
report, if you remember, the county was doing what it was supposed to do, they just never got the check back, they never got it.
Yeah.
So he was submitting the bills, and the county wasn't reimbursing, or the budgets weren't being reimbursed.
Okay. That's, I don't wanna make a big issue out of it, it's just.
Well, you did. No, I'm just kidding.
When I see it's a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
That
they
belongs
have,
to
we
the
just,
county.
we delivered it, they used it, and we picked it
That's
up
right.
and brought it back. So,
Yeah, and.
you know, we
and
didn't have
charge.
manpower there running it or doing the job.
How'd you charge for the equipment?
Well, it goes by the lowboy, the tractor, the trailer, the machine.
To
run
take it
there,
to.
and then the same to pick it up.
But do you have a rate chart? How do you decide the amount?
Is that the FEMA
Rate
rate that
chart.
y'all
FEMA
use?
chart. That's
That's
how
the
we do
FEMA
it.
rate you charge?
So it's very below average.
Okay.
cost. But like I said, I wish we didn't have to bill anything.
Okay.
We bill a lot, unnecessarily bill.
If the road department, the fairgrounds had gone out and rented one, it would have probably been 3 times that or more.
Yeah.
So,
That's not the price, it's the price and all, that's not the issue. I'm just contending that Pierce makes this rule, and by God, some of it might not be exactly right.
I agree. I think we contribute
And
to
we-
it, this should be looked at. a little
If
bit.
it's county buying that equipment, then we should be charging each other for it.
Yeah, I agree.
well, in fairness to peer, not peer, I don't mean to be fair to them at all, but ultimately, what they were looking at when they cited that may not have involved equipment, it was maybe labor, and so the rule applied to what they were applying it to.
Yeah.
I don't know that, I don't remember the specifics, it wasn't that much, you know, they were looking for something to criticize. It wasn't very much in that report overall, although the press didn't make it look like that.
Is that something y'all gonna look into, and if we change it,
I'll look at it, if it's
Just let me
different.
know.
Just like Tim to look at it, I'm just,
I agree,
it's
I
just
agree.
issue somewhat, I'm curious about on it. All right, thank you. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order rescinding, rescinding the adopted orders for travel as listed, 8/12/2024, file, number 24-3953.
Motion.
Discussion, hear none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Now, order approving travel as listed.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion,
It was just rescheduled. The first one was
That's right.
canceled, so there
We
weren't
just
enough
changed the date.
participants.
that's
And the
fine.
location.
The location change.
And the location. It's a different
One's in
event,
Flowood,
but
one's in
same
Laurel.
event, new, because it was, the other one was canceled.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Under controller, wait a minute, what did I miss? No, order approving the end of the year 2024 Interfund loan repayments per attached schedule.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. An order authorizing the interfund loans of fiscal year 2025 per the attached schedule.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order authorizing year-end budget amendments, adjusting journal entries and transfers if needed to close out fiscal year 2024.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. Order approving transfer of $69,373.26 from 001 General Fund to 173 IDA Fund.
Motion. Second.
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order approving the transfer of $376,522.04 from 001 General Fund to 313 Fund to close out fund.
Motion. Second.
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order approving the following, listed claims.
Motion. Second.
Second, discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. Chancery Clerk, on the order approving claims docket per Mississippi Code 1972, annotated section 19-13-27.
Motion. Second.
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order approving the following payment for court audit commitments per service agreement with Gulfport Behavioral Health System.
Motion. Second.
Discussion, I have some, discussion, are we pretty much balancing the two hospitals, Oceans and Gulfport Behavioral?
Oceans won't take some of them, Chelsea's calling GBH, because some of the reasons Oceans won't take them, I can ask Chelsea why,
So they've been,
but we do not
had the
have,
opportunity to have them and they turned you down.
but we do not have a signed, updated contract with GBH or Oceans yet. So we will hold this check until they get it.
Okay, all right.
It's been sent to them to.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I noticed the previous payment we did was mostly, Gulfport Behavioral, and but they have an opportunity as well.
They do.
Okay. All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order approving payment of claims listed.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. Order authorizing issuance of a check in the amount of $95.09 to McCoy Levitt and Lasky LLC as a refund of estimated costs for productions of documents in connection with public records requests payable from Harris County General Fund.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order authorizing issuance of duplicate warrants as listed.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. On the board agenda, order approving change order number 2 to the contract with Starch Contracting Company Incorporated for Harris County Fire Station number 15 at Traditions, extending the contract time by 49 days with no charge to contract cost as recommended by Williams and Associates, PA project architect, and authorizing board president to execute the same.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order adjudicating the employment of Tennessee Holloman, Boyce Holloman and Associates to represent Harrison County, Harrison County Board of Supervisors, and Paula Lyden in official capacity as tax assessor, Harrison County, Mississippi, in the litigation matters listed.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
These are all appeals to the circuit court. Other than ceasefire,
That
that's an appeal.
ceasefire is one of, they are one, that's one of
The
them.
ceasefire is an appeal, and that will be a jury trial too, so it'll be interesting.
Any further discussion? Here none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order authorizing Machado Patana to proceed with design preparations of bid documents for the conversion of the former children's shelter located at 47 Maples Drive into classroom and meeting space specifically designated for use by the Harrison County IDD program administered through Pine Belt Mental Health Resources, and proceed with the bid process as required by Mississippi Code annotated section 31-321.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Now, we're authorizing that. Do we have any cost to, that?
So we've got an estimated cost. What we expect to see is, once it goes out for bid, the cost be significantly lower than what is forecasted.
We'll have an opportunity to reject that bid if necessary.
That is correct,
Because
yes.
some of the estimates of $1 million,
It's
you can build another facility like that for that.
And it's nice, I literally would move my family in there tomorrow. I mean, besides a few handicap alterations, it does not need much.
So Doc, what this will do is, one, it helps us move forward with the ARPA funds that we have a timeline on.
Good.
And two, brings it into a little more focus as to true cost.
All right, good deal.
And I know I mentioned it before, but those murals are very special to us who did them 20 years ago, so let's please make sure we keep those. Maybe even put plexiglass over them like they do at the Walter Anderson Museum, if possible.
Willie and I discussed that,
Yeah.
and Catherine, Rachel, we went through there this week, inventory items that we're gonna have stored.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order declaring all personal property located at the former children's shelter located at 47 Maple Drive to have a fair market value of 0 pursuant to requirements of Mississippi Code Annotated Section 17-2525 and authorizing the county administrator to dispose of the same.
Motion. Second.
Discussion?
Discussion. And I talked to Robbie about this as well. The Advocacy Center, which is kind of, near on the same, is on the same property. We, about 2 years ago, met with the Board of Goodwill, and Goodwill said that they would give us $100 vouchers. So if someone comes in with a child in need or a fire victim, Goodwill would give them that $100 voucher. We never solidified that relationship because the board member who wanted to do it left. But my suggestion, and I know all these things intimately, these are brand new clothes for children, shoes, clothing of all sizes from newborn to 17. So I would suggest we reach out to Goodwill, and Robbie seemed to like this idea that we could give them all these wonderful clothes and everything, and they would give us, let's say 50,000 or 30,000, whatever we think the value is, of vouchers that we can give to our citizens in need. So that would be my hope, that we would do that.
Yeah, I know Valley reached out and asked if they would be able to go through and possibly get things that they may need for youth court. I don't know what they would use. I mean, I have no idea what's in there that they would use, but they asked.
You and I can discuss that if you don't mind.
I think
There's an
we-
entire background and the resource center that they took without our permission. I think Dan, you and Robbie and I'd like us to physically go to Maple so I can show you each and every building and explain what has happened and what the need is and what the numbers are.
I would just tell them no.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to explain why to you, but we don't need to do it right now.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, motion carries. Order authorizing and approving the striping of Shriners Boulevard within the city of Biloxi as per the terms of the interlocal governmental cooperation agreement between the city of Biloxi and Harrison County.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Order approving preliminary site, order approving preliminary site planning and environmental permitting services by Covenant Civil and Environmental for tax parcels numbers 0809G-01-007.000, parcel number 0809G-001-007.001, parcel number 0809G-001-007.002, and parcel number 0809G-01-007.003. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second discussion, what is this?
So, Doc, this is the parcel next to the Department of Human Services, the site we were looking to build on.
Right.
I know we have additional
Somebody-
discussion,
that's-
but what I would like to do, this is wetlands, and I would like to go ahead and delineate these wetlands for future use if we do need that site to build on at a later date.
Okay. All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries. Jim, got anything?
I do have a, report of the status of the Veterans Avenue handicap accessible pier that I can give to the board and spread it on the minutes. They're gonna hope to complete construction by
Yes.
April of 2025.
25. Okay, anything else? Do we need to spread this on the minute?
Do we need to?
I'd like to spread it on the minutes.
Motion to spread on the minute?
Motion.
Second?
Discussion?
And one other matter we need to,
All,
Oh, no, I was talking about that.
yeah, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the motion carries.
we need an executive session to discuss potential purchase of real estate for use of the diversion center.
Okay. We'll come back to that as we go. And
I do not, thank you.
Dan?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mr. John Gutierrez to the Biloxi seat for the library board.
Motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Supervisor Jones?
Don't have anything.
I don't either.
No, I believe we're gonna go into executive session about something else, Robbie, about the potential litigation. We were talking about, you and I met about yesterday.
Yes.
So we're gonna-
Yes.
But other than that, I don't have anything.
I have none. I'm good, Tim covered.
Yeah, okay. Reasons to go into executive
Need an
session.
executive session to discuss potential purchase, negotiation for purchase of real estate with the use of the diversion center. Plus some potential litigation, I'm not sure what
The
that is.
grant that Tricia, y'all met yesterday, didn't you, on First Street?
Tim was not there.
So it's potential litigation.
With Catherine and Robbie, who came and talked to you about yesterday?
Youth
Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking about when you said over here, and I'm going, no, okay, yes, it's,
Be a little bit more specific.
How do we word it?
I'm trying to think. Potential.
The board wanna go in closed
litigation.
session so we
Yeah.
can discuss.
That
Yes,
might be the
please.
best thing to do. Chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session. Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye.
Uh,
Those opposed by no, the motion carries. We'll ask you to excuse us just a minute, and then we'll come back. Shouldn't take too long.